So hello there, I am Trisha. I am your 2025-2026 Plano East Golden Girl Mom Chair, and we are gonna make a mum. So let's start with what you should have in your kit. You should have one sparkly ribbon. If you are a junior, your ribbons will be black and gold. If you are a senior, your ribbons will be white and gold. I am making an underclassman mum, so you should have 4 large gold foiled ribbons. You should have 7 plain black ribbons, 4 skinny gold foiled ribbons, 2 sparkly strips, a envelope with your Golden Girl's name on it, a boot, a mum, for sure 1 pipe cleaner, and that's white. If you are an underclassman, it should be a second pipe cleaner that is black. If you're a senior, it's going to be a second white pipe cleaner, but 2 pipe cleaners. You should have what is called a military braid, another envelope that says either junior or senior, and you should have several mum backers. You will need a stapler, you might need scissors, and you will also need a hot glue gun. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. So we're gonna start with 1 backer. We are going to take our plain ribbon. There should be 7 of them. We are going to place them and staple them to the back to one of our mum backers. So, so it's gonna go just easy peasy, just like that. Actually, hold on, I need more staples. I'm going to put all 7 across this mum backer. I'm going to flare the ends out a little bit, so that way it just has a nice mum shape. If you were a Golden Girl last year, these are boot mums. These boot mums are going to be shorter and lighter than last year's boot mums because they were too long and they were too heavy last year. And last year we had some issues that the girls were stepping on them, they were falling off their legs. So we want to keep them smaller and lighter this year, so that way our girls can wear them in the homecoming parade this year. Okay, so go ahead, like I said, just place 6. Your 7 ribbons across the backer. And it will look something like this when you're done. So the 7 ribbons across the backer. Okay, now I'm going to take my gold foiled ribbons. If you are doing a black and gold mum, you will only have 4 gold foiled ribbons. If you are doing a white mum for a senior, you will notice that you actually have 5 gold foiled ribbons. It's because we had 5 options, and so you just pick 4, only 4. Okay, so I recommend that you lay this out. I am going to go ahead and lay out all of it, and I will staple it all at once because I want to make sure that I'm happy with how it looks. So now the homecoming is extra long because I didn't want to cut off part of the word. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to actually cut off the top, but I wanted to make sure that people were happy with how that looked. So actually, I'm gonna go like this, but I'm gonna lay them all out, and then down the very middle is where we will put the sparkly gold ribbons. You'll notice I'm leaving kind of a gap. That is on purpose. So because now I'm not gonna staple this, I'm not stapling this one at the same time, but this will go down the middle. So I'm gonna set that off to the side. I like the placement of my ribbons, so I'm gonna actually adjust this one a little bit. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to very carefully start stapling all of these to my mum backer. Okay, I was losing some ribbons, so I paused it there for a second. But okay, so I've got my ribbons there. Now I'm gonna take my sparkly gold one right down the middle, and I'm gonna go ahead and just staple that. All right, this is what is called the mum skirt. We are gonna be done for just a moment with the mum skirt. Now we're gonna take a new backer, and we are going to take the envelope that either says junior or senior. and you're gonna open up that envelope. You will have, again, either black ribbon or white ribbon, depending on if it's an underclassman or an upperclassman. So separate your ribbons. Make sure you find the shiny side of the ribbons. There should be a total of 10 of each, 10 ribbons, 10 star cutouts. And we are gonna make 2 shapes. There will be 5 of each. The first shape, super easy peasy. It's just a just a rollover. You're gonna take your stapler and you're just gonna staple it. That is 1. So we're gonna do that 5 times. Okay, so I did a couple off camera real quick, but just one more time to show you. We're just gonna take the gold on top of the black or the gold on top of the white, and you literally just roll it over, match up the ends, and then staple. And so this is what it should look like. Easy peasy. Now the second shape we're gonna do, and I made a couple off camera. So again, we start with our gold on top of our ribbon, whether it's white or black. I recommend you hold it like this, and then kind of make a U shape, and then cross one over the other to make a little bit of a point. That's it. And then staple. All right, I'm gonna show you a couple more. So again, we've got the shiny side of our ribbon, the gold, kind of make like a U shape, and then cross one corner over the other to make a point. It's gonna look like that. And then we're just gonna staple it. I'm gonna show you one more time because I did make 2 off camera. So gold on top of black, make our U shape, and then cross the corners over to make a point, and then staple. All right, now we are going to take one of our fresh mum backers, and then we are going to start attaching these to the mum backer. I think the easiest way to do this is to start with one of the fold overs. So just from a spacing standpoint, this is a white, obviously not black option, but this is kind of what it's going to look like. So you can see from a spacing standpoint, they are going to be a little bit on top of each other. That is okay. This is what we call the crown of the mum. We want it to look full. Okay, so when I'm doing this, I like to kind of match up. So again, I think that the folded over one should always be on bottom and the point should sit on top. And I try to make sure that they make a nice circle. The outsides make a nice circle. So then you're gonna take your stapler. I'm holding these right now with my thumb. I'm gonna come over here to this corner. It's gonna hit both the pointed one as well as the rolled over one on the far right. And so now that is attached. So I'm gonna take one of my little loops. I'm going to kind of shove it underneath here, and I'm gonna try and pay attention to this little V, the spacing right here, and make them look kind of the same. So, all right, now I'm going to place another staple, but this time I'm gonna do it on the left side of the point. And again, it's gonna go through down, getting my folded over shape. I'm gonna bring in a point, and I'm gonna try to match up again the little V's to make sure that they're about the same. I'm gonna check the height. Are we making a nice circly shape? I'm going to staple down the right side, bring in one of my loops. I'm gonna check my height. I'm gonna check my little V, make sure I'm happy. And then I'm going to go ahead and staple down the left side of my point. So, all right, so now same thing. So I'm checking my little V's, the little spaces in between, making sure I'm happy with the height. Gonna staple down the right side. Now I'm going to, again, check my little V's, make sure I'm happy with the height, and then staple down the left. Okay, so I just finished that up, but then our crown is going to look like that. Again, white or black, senior, junior, whatever the case may be. Okay, So now the next thing that we're going to go ahead and do is we are going to take our military braid. Now, if you are an underclassman, grab your black pipe cleaner. If you are a senior or making mums for a senior, grab one of your white pipe cleaners. We are going to hot glue the pipe cleaner to the back of the military braid. You can also staple it if you want. I'm going to hot glue it, but we want to attach it. So I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to hot glue, and again, not the pretty side, not the sparkly side, to the back. So we're going to do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now we have our military braid with our pipe cleaner at the back. The reason why we did this is because we are going to use the pipe cleaner to make the military braid be the shape that we want. I am going to do this with it. Okay, we are going to attach the military braid to the crown of the mum like so. Now, before we get super excited about this, I want to show you one more thing. In the envelope that has your kiddo's name on it, you will find several custom cutouts. One of them is their name, one of them is their title. Okay, so their title is going to go down on the sparkly gold ribbon. Okay, you are gonna wanna put it as low as you can because because the crown itself takes up quite a bit of space, and we don't want to cover up their title. So, as you're going through and kind of trying to line everything up before we hot glue anything down, I want you to take a look at how does it all fit together. You might have to shimmy and adjust around the crown to make sure that you can see all of your Golden Girls title. And then when you kind of have figured out where you want the crown, then you place the military braid. Okay, so you can do it up here so it sits right at the bottom of the crown. If you want to do it more like this, you can do it more in this shape. Can you see that? Yeah, more in this shape. Maybe this shape, that might be easier to show it on this side. Or it can just go across, it's up to you. Now, if your daughter is on gold dust, you will have a cutout that says gold dust in your envelope. Your gold dust cutout will go on the military braid. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and put it right here. So it's just right at the very bottom of the crown. And so I'm going to staple, and then I'm going to follow the staples up with some hot glue. So I'm going to carefully, it takes a little bit of finagling, that's okay. No wonder, I'm like, why is this not working? Okay, I'm going to carefully finagle my stapler over here. I'm going to staple down on the military braid. The other side fell off, it's fine. I will go ahead and adjust that. And like I said, my plan is to make it just below on the crown. So now I'm gonna bring my stapler in on the other side, and very carefully so you don't mess up your folds and your points, staple like that. And then again, the reason why we did the pipe cleaner was so that way you can shape it. So once it's in place, now like make sure you're happy with the shape. Okay, so that is that part. While I am here, I'm going to go ahead and hot glue down the title of my mum. Okay, so I went ahead and hot glued that down. So now we are ready to actually talk about the mum itself. So get out your mum. So if it's in plastic, take it out of the plastic. If it's not in plastic, that's okay, just grab it. So the first thing we're gonna do is we are going to take off the little green backers if you have any. If you don't have a stopper, don't worry about it, we don't need that. We are going to take off this entire back. If you have a little white tag, take that off too. We want to get down to just the white with the little green, can you see that? Mm-hmm. Okay, with the little green thing, okay. Now, so once we're here, the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna grab our white pipe cleaner, all right? We're gonna tie a little knot in the white pipe cleaner. So here we go. So I tied a little knot. Hopefully you can see that. All right, I'm gonna tie a little knot in this one. All right, I'm gonna pause the video one more time for another second, so give me just a moment. Okay, so I tied a little knot, and hopefully you can see that okay. I'm literally going to cut off the end because we tied a little knot because we don't want, because this is what's gonna actually hold your mum together, and we don't want the mum falling apart. So we have there our knot on one end. Now, we are going to pick our mum back up. So we've got our little green thing sticking out. If you turn your mum over and find in the very middle a green little hole, I'm gonna put my finger right there to cover it. I'm going to flip it over, and I am actually going to cut off as much of this green thing as I can, because that will prevent the mum from laying flat. All right, so I cut that off. Now I'm going to flip it back over. Again, I was holding the little hole with my finger, and I'm going to shove the not knotted end through that little hole. Okay, so then I'm going to pull it all the way through, and now I've got the pipe cleaner is going to again hold my mum flower together. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my crown. I'm going to put my white pipe cleaner through the little hole in my crown. It is there, it should be perforated. If you need to cut it off or pop it out, whatever, that's fine. But this is what it's going to look like. So here, that's what it's gonna look like. Now, the next thing I'm going to do, which I'm gonna do this off camera, I'm going to put hot glue down here in the inside part of the crown, and then I'm going to pull my pipe cleaner tight, so that way my mum is pulled tight, and then I'm going to let that hot glue sit. So I'm gonna do that off camera, but that is the next step. So we have glued the mum down, we have let the hot glue set for a minute, and now we've got our tail. What we are going to do is we are going to carefully take our stapler, we're going to carefully shimmy. I'm trying to look at it, so you probably can't see it, but carefully shimmy and paying attention to the mum, because we don't want to actually staple onto the mum flower petals if possible. But I'm going to staple down the pipe cleaner. And as much as you can, but again, pay attention because you don't want to mess up the mum flower. I'm going to probably put 2 or 3 staples in. So, all right, so I've got my 2 staples down. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hot glue this. So I'm going to let that hot glue rest and cool down, and I'm just going to make sure it stays nice and flat while I wait for that to cool down.